Hello folks, this is an update to the Homebrew 68020 computer that I built about 2 years ago. It's been a while since I've done an update for this system. I've been busy working on Rev 2 of this board, which is going to be a non-minimalist version. Ultimately, it should be a full-featured VME computer. This board is all wire wrapped. I'll just do a recap for anyone that hasn't seen any of the previous videos. The sockets are soldered in just to keep them in place, but everything else, all the interconnects are all wire wrapped. It's a 68020 8 megahertz board being fed with a 16 megahertz crystal. It's divided by 2 inside of the CPLD here, which houses all the glue logic. This is a 32K RAM SRAM module. It's 256K by 8. This is a 32K ROM, which houses the ROM monitor that I've written. This right here is the Motorola. That long chip there is it's the UART for this board. It's a 68901. That little IC there is just to invert the logic coming out of this, so it'll work with the FTDI USB serial converter. That's really about it. A couple of capacitors on the board. Pretty much everything else is in the CPLD here. This entire project is open sourced. It's designed to be minimalist, so anyone can just take a 68020 that they find laying around and possibly construct something that'll work as a computer. I'll go ahead and power it up because I wanted to go over something that I've been writing on the software front. Software will work on both versions of this board. But I decided to try something on a whim due to a discussion that my friends and I had on Slack the other night. I've got the Minicom up here. I'm using Minicom because I can do a character transmit delay, which I can't seem to do inside of the OS X terminal. So I'll go ahead and power the board up. Of course, I'm doing this with one hand. I'll probably cause it to boot 2 or 3 times here as I plug in the cable, because I can't do it with one hand very well. Actually, let me just put the phone down. Sorry. Alright, so the board boots pretty quick. There is a minor BIOS version bump here. It's BIOS I just wrote yesterday because I had to implement a couple of additional functions. What I wanted to go over though today was this little piece of code here that I wrote. I decided to do some math on this, and what better way to do that than to render the Mandelbrot set. So I put something together in about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, and I'm gonna go ahead and run that here. So compiling it results in code that's about 122 bytes in size. And then if I pipe this through XXD, which is the standard Linux utility, and do some formatting with sed, I can get the output of that binary in hexadecimal so I can copy it into my ROM monitor. So I'm just going to copy the code here and go back to my Minicom where I've got rhombus booted up. The mem command, which I've had for a while, allows me to specify a memory address and alter the contents. I'm just going to use this memory address. It's above the stack. It's a spot that's on the RAM that's free. So I'm going to go ahead and alter the memory contents there. I'm going to paste the code in. And then I'm going to use the jump command to jump to that address and execute the program I just wrote. And there is the Mandelbrot set in very crude ASCII form. So I don't know why it's not evenly spaced here. I am using a monospace font, but I'm thinking I got some characters that are non-printable, and that's causing some of these lines to get truncated a bit. So I'll have to go in and check my character mapping here. All I'm doing is taking the number of iterations and literally just printing that to the console, so the characters will all differ depending on how many iterations were required to determine if the point was in the set or not. So it's not perfect, but it worked, and it worked on more or less the first shot. I had a small problem with my code where I was passing the address of a value instead of the actual value I was trying to pass into one of the address registers, and it was causing me some grief, and I was probably a little bit short on my Red Bull last night when I did it, but that's that. So I look forward to posting some updates regarding the revision 2 board that I've got once I get the board run off from SparkFun. Or, I'm sorry, not SparkFun, Oshpark. And hopefully we'll get the ROM monitor for this board polished up and get a couple of sample programs online so folks can understand how to use it and hopefully replicate what I've done so they can use it as a learning tool. I've certainly learned quite a bit about 68K programming through this thing, so thanks for watching. Keep tuned in, and I'll have some updates in the coming week. Thanks for watching.